Welcome back everyone to the violin making series part 5. Yeah, the continuity continues. But before we actually continue with the next part, I'm gonna wrap up some loose ends from the creation of the F-holes you saw in the previous part. Which, yeah, there's some smaller details which I wanna show in some of the tools we use and why we use them and how we use them. So let's go. First of all, there's this interesting hole cutter here. So yeah, this hole cutter has some advantages over regular drills and all of that, but yeah, let me explain a bit later. So this hole cutter, obviously you saw it used in a time lapse like this, where you make the pilot hole with a pilot drill. Then you have this knife, which is actually live blade, more like a ripper knife, where you can cut the fibers really easily like this, and on the other side like that. But yeah, you don't really spin it around all the time.
No, spinning is very bad, very bad.
Because then you actually rip the wood apart like these good old fluted drills all the time do. That's
exactly.
Also why we don't use these fluted drills.
And also because they don't make them with the exact diameter we want the holes to be.
Yeah, that's another advantage, because
this is adjustable infinitely.
You can see this knife goes through here. It gets screwed down with these two screws. It actually moves around. You can adjust it however you want. So that's why we use a hole cutter like that. The other detail was, you saw my brother work on this spot here, and you might have thought,
fluting of the F-holes.
You might have thought, well, there was some misshaping of this top part, but no, it's actually because this lower part of the F-hole is a bit inset. As you can see, it's a bit lower now than this shape over here. You know why that is? Because when you pressure the violin, when the strings are on there, you can see how that goes down. So then this edge actually aligns with this shape over here, and if you don't inset this is gonna stand up and
it's going to touch something, and
it's gonna get catched in, for example, like clothing or anything like that, and
yes,
it rips.
Or even the bow.
Yeah, it rips the edge up, and then the wood is ruined, and yeah, not good. So that's why that's inset over there. And yeah, the other thing which is interesting is the way these F-holes are actually marked with this stencil here. So here's the stencil. This is a very interesting stencil, because it's not marked in a traditional way where you cut the shape and actually glue the shape directly with the sticky tape, and you have to worry about where exactly it goes. No, this stencil has actually the alignment in the middle. It stays big. You can sticky tape it wherever you want, and then you mark this using a needle like this, where you go around and...
Don't do it.
No, I'm not gonna touch it, don't worry. But yeah, that's how it works. You can see all the tiny holes where this once was on its spot and the F-hole actually got marked. Then you obviously saw it get sawed. The rough shape with the... I don't know how it's called, but it's the Bügelsäge in... or Laubsäge in English.
I don't remember how it is called. I don't remember it. I'm sorry.
But yeah, it's similar to the jeweler's saw, but
yes,
it's a bit bigger and
bigger.
less. It has less tension because it obviously doesn't have to cut metal. But yeah, that would actually wrap up all the details about the F-hole construction and why
now
it's...
we will explain part 2, bass part.
Yeah, that's what comes next. But yeah, that's what explains how and why the F-holes are made in that way. So there we go. Next up, like we talked about in part 4 in the ending, what comes in this episode, actually,
The tedious process of fitting the bass bar.
yeah, the bass bar. And there it is. This is gonna be the piece of wood. It goes like this. And yeah, as you heard in the previous episode, this is gonna get fitted with chalk. So you rub this with chalk, then you rub this like this, then you see the shape and all of that. But yeah, there's a lot of a lot of things to this actually. It's not that simple, because if you misalign this somehow like this, or even if you mark the exact position, you are never gonna be able to put this every single time in the same spot and move it correctly. So the alignment is gonna get screwed up if you don't have some way of having this consistently in the right spot. So what do we do about that? So we actually glue some posts in a violin, some physical stops to put this against, well, the bass bar against, so it's always in the right spot. Then you move it a bit, you chalk it, and then you adjust it. So, but yeah, gluing posts into this like this is not really viable, because if you don't do it right, you will never be able to remove the posts ever again afterwards without ruining the wood. So there's a trick we use, which is actually glue the posts to the violin piece in between this paper. So that doesn't only go for the posts. This is actually a really old trick woodworkers use all the time. So here's an example. For example, this carving, you can see,
which you would never be able to clamp anywhere and hold from the top side with one of the...
Because it's way too fragile, as you can see. It's way too fragile, and you have to carve everywhere. So you glue this to a holding piece of wood,
and then hold the piece of wood
with the paper in between. You can hold the, for example, if this was a plate of wood, you can clamp it over here and carve in piece. And then if you want to remove it, you just wet it a bit with some brush or something. The paper gets a bit soft, then you come in with some spatula and get the paper started to rip, and then you can just remove it pretty easily. This actually fell apart from its own time, because paper gets a bit brittle over time. So
yes, it does.
That helps remove it as well. But yeah, that's the trick you're gonna see us use to mark these, to glue these posts or guides or stops, whatever you wanna call them. And that's how this bus bar is always consistently gonna get to the right spot. And this angle is also important. So
yes, that's also important.
Those stops help with us as well. So yeah, everybody hopefully understands how this is gonna work now, and you already know.
Calculate the length.
Yeah, that's the last thing. The last thing is the length of the bus bar, which is actually the length of this top piece multiplied by 0.75, according to the internet, which is obviously not wrong. So yeah, there you go. That's all the information you are probably gonna need to do this, if you wanna do this even yourself. But yeah, you know what's gonna happen next, right? Yeah,
The
time lapses.
Famous time lapses.
Time lapses, my friends. Here we go. Well, here it is. You saw all the process of creating these blocks, gluing these blocks on. Is the paper, as you can see. This one already failed, which is good. This is what we want. Yeah, we have here the guide for the bus bar. My brother says it's already pretty good enough, so you're gonna glue it now, right?
Yes, I'm going to glue it
Well,
right now.
The glue is actually heating up, I think.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
It's
because
too fast.
it's too fast because we are still showing you this. But yeah, you can see this all is very nicely adjusted if it's in the right place. And yes,
a little bit closer there.
it's actually a tension bus bar, so
Slightly sprung. Slightly,
it's gonna get
less than a millimeter.
yeah, it's
somewhere
just
there.
a bit of pressure and
Just a bit of pressure. Exactly.
it molds itself to the top piece.
The top piece molds itself to the bar because the bar doesn't mold itself.
Right, both a bit.
Both, yes.
There's a lot of bugs here. Yeah, we actually built a new light here, so to make these nightly recordings, because yeah, the weather is very hot
Far too hot
to work in the day, so
Far too hot.
everything is pretty much recorded at the night time. But yeah, with a light like this, there's not much problems for that. There's the secret if you want to see it. Yeah, this stand is also pretty cool. Sure. Yeah, this goes there. It's made from an old lamp stand. Yeah,
Pretty nice, the stand. I like it.
it is very practical, that's for
Yes.
sure. But yeah, enough rambling about installation and stuff. Yeah, you saw. Yeah, there's not much to this.
Also, in this video, we're going to glue the top to the ribs.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be the ending where we actually glue the mold on here and all its stuff. And yeah, the bus bar.
Garland to the top.
Yeah, the garland to the top. The bus bar doesn't have that much of a secret. The only thing, we already explained everything in the intro. When
It's just time.
put the
Time,
blocks in.
time.
it takes a lot of time and precision, but that's it. Then you glue it and you're done pretty much. Then you shape this in a nice, like perfect arch. So, you know,
Yes.
that's about it.
That's about it. You need to get the F hole mix
yeah,
in. That's the
you
other
actually-
thing I'm going to do.
We actually made a channel for the violin on my Discord, so if you want to ask questions or look at progress or something like that, you can find it there.
Yeah, I will post some measurements and plans, drawings and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
that
my brother is gonna use it pretty much as an archive, so he can always find the stuff he uses when he looks in there, so
yes,
you can
that's
find it as well. And yeah,
The most important website was took down from the internet, you know it. Makingtheviolin.com doesn't exist. The interesting thing, it works on the mobile phone and doesn't work on the PC.
yeah, probably IP blocked or something, but yeah.
Something like that, something
Strange stuff. Anyways, this is gonna be it for the small intermission. So this bus bar is now gonna get glued on there. So you're gonna see that next. Let's go. there it is. The base bar
The base bar.
is mounted. There it is. Now you can see all the curve and all of that which we were talking about in the beginning of the video. All the shaping and that. Yeah. It is mounted, so this upper plate is now pretty much finished, right?
Yes, it is. The F-hole mix.
Yeah,
I
these
still need to
these
make.
things which we talked about in part 4 we still have to do, but yeah, we can almost glue it
Almost, yes.
to the ribs and all of that, to the construction.
The garland.
Yeah, the garland. These bits are gonna get removed and all of
When I
that.
soak the inside in borax, then it's going to be removed.
Yeah,
Hot borax. We
that's pretty much
simply
used.
dissolve the glue and then this one.
It's pretty much used for conservation
And then it also-
purposes.
And then also we get a coat of glue
Yeah.
inside, which is very important.
That's for conservation purposes and to spread the sound better. So that's a thing we do. And here is the garland, and you can see these wood pieces here, which you might be asking, what are these for? And so let me explain. If we would just glue this on top of here simply like that, it wouldn't hold very well, because you can see the ribs are very thin, so getting this actually to stick is very hard. In fact,
It's impossible.
these always tend to fall apart.
You know it.
Yeah.
The previous violin, they always open if the
If
temperature
you-
changes or the humidity
If
in the
you
atmosphere changes.
if you make a cold glue, or if the glue is not hot enough, or if anything is wrong, this top piece is gonna fall off. If it's not glued properly. It's just a thing that happens. It just cracks, you touch it and bling, and it falls off.
Yes.
So yeah, if you didn't know, these are gonna go here. So
We're going
these
to
are
get
gonna
bent
get bent
exactly like the ribs.
exactly in this shape, like he's telling you guys. There's gonna
Notch.
small slit done here, when this then goes in here. Boom.
Yes.
This wraps around here, everywhere. And on the other side as well, but yeah, you can't do that now because
The mold is in the way.
this mold is still there. So the next procedure, which it's not gonna be all in this episode, but what you're gonna see in this episode is the
Me scraping this to get the ribs clean after the glue, the bending, which obviously causes the hairs of the wood to stand up.
that's so
It's going to take a while.
this is gonna get scraped because the ribs are pretty rough again. So that's that. Then you are gonna see the bender return. These are gonna get bent.
Yes.
These are gonna get put in here. Then the mold is gonna get removed
After we glue the top piece on.
after we glue the top piece on, and that's gonna be the end of the episode, I think.
Yes, I hope so.
And the next episode is gonna start with
Removing
obviously
the mold from the inside.
putting these on the other side, because on this
Yes,
side they
of
have to
course.
go as well. And when all of that is done,
Then
then it's time for the back side,
it's time for the back side.
which is gonna be the most wrist-breaking part.
wrist breaking. I don't know if wrist breaking or wie
And
heißen
most
sie die
noisy.
Blasen?
I don't know.
I will look it up very fast. One moment, please.
Okay, we got it. It's the most blister-inducing part,
Yes, it will.
actually. But yeah, for the carving of the backside, we're gonna use the hammer and everything.
Yes.
It's gonna
Hammer
be
is
it's gonna be
probably the
gonna be pretty crazy.
and the knives are gonna be ultra sharp, because if you are not really sharp, you are
They're gonna
losing your
be
time.
they're gonna be pretty much sharpened every 50 passes or so from the chisel. You resharpen
Yes, you pass it over the strop
Yeah.
to get the keenness back.
the leather. How's it called?
It's a strop.
There's another wording for it.
I don't know the other wording.
Yeah, I don't
I've heard
remember
it called
myself.
strop.
But yeah, enough rambling, enough talking, enough explaining what's gonna happen next. So yeah, you know what's gonna happen next.
This video is going to be long.
It's gonna be pretty long, yeah. So, quick recap. This is gonna get installed on this side. Top is gonna get glued in, and then the mold is gonna get removed, and these are gonna go in. But that's probably the next episode. So yeah,
Time lapses.
time for more time lapses and more
And
epic
enjoy
music.
the music.
More epic music. Here we
Yes.
go. Well, here it is. This is the final thing I wanted to show everybody. Come on. There we go. Now you can see the whole inner construction here. And yeah, that is gonna conclude the 5th episode I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time. Later.